Taking a while.
Find out the bill.
I've been like that anyway.
All right, we are live streaming and recording, so
Ready?
Chair of the Finance Committee.
Okay, we got started with the Finance Committee. I'd like to call the County Capital Resource Corporation meeting to order. November 13th,
He did.
12 p.m. Roll call show everybody's here. I need a approval of the minutes of the October 21st, 2020 meeting. March 2nd. Joey, all in favor, aye?
All right.
Opposed? Carried. In the old business, I don't believe we have any.
None.
And the new business, this CVES BOCES bond project. Action item to approve the resolution and recommend to the board the bond resolution to the favorable.
All right, sorry, slow this down. So the members of the finance committee are Keith, Joey, and Trent.
That's not me. So that, when did that change? It's
No, that's it. So,
That's the one.
Joey made the motion, that's second. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Well,
Carried.
you get in a minute, you just relax.
I thought about that too, because I thought it was.
So, under new business, would be approval of a resolution to recommend bond resolution to the full board, CVEF BOCES project 11-24-01. Motion to.
I'll make it.
Brett, second, Joey. Any questions? All in favor, aye. Opposed? Carried. Any other business?
None.
Motion to adjourn. Joey, second, Trent, all in favor, aye. We are adjourned.
And before we move on, just for those that are on the call, we're currently convening our CRC meeting. And then the IDA meeting will come following the CRC meeting, so. Governor, yes.
Okay, I'll open up the Clinton County Capital Resource Corporation meeting. Call the meeting to order, waive the reading of the minutes as well as the notice of the meeting, and ask for a motion to approve. Dave? I'll second. John, second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Yes, County Capital Resource Committee, the income for the month, received $100 from NFI and $400 from Sean Beck in October for foreign trade zone fees. No expenses during the month.
Made money this month.
Yeah, this one we did.
Wow.
The other one we can't, we keep taking.
Till next year.
Get a motion to approve the treasurer's report. Joey? Second. John? Any discussion? Not all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The finance committee report.
Yes, the Finance Committee met just prior to this meeting, and the Finance Committee would like to recommend board approval of the CVEF BOCES bond resolution.
No old business, Chair.
Yeah, just moving on.
Yep, to the new business. Yep.
We have, we have a motion for the public hearing.
We just need to approve the public hearing minutes before we approve the resolution.
Okay, right. May I get a motion to approve those minutes? Please, Dave, second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Just for the board's reference, there was nobody in attendance at the public hearing. So the next action item, Chairman, would be now we can approve the seeker resolution.
Looking for that.
just follow your resolution tab, should be the first one.
I get a motion to approve resolution, number 11-24-02. Resolution referring and determination by the county Plattsburgh Planning Board as a lead agency for the environmental review of the CDF BOCES project. We get a motion. Joey? Second, Dave? Roll call vote. Dave Hoover?
Yes.
Mike Zerlo?
Yes.
Keith Stefania?
Yes.
Mark Leonard?
Yes.
John Van Natten?
Yes.
Joey Tremblay?
Yes.
And Trent Trumbull, yes. Okay, and then I get a motion for resolution number 11-24-03, a resolution authorizing the issuance and sale by Clinton County Capital Resource Corporation of a tax exempt lease revenue bond, CBES BOCES projects in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed 75 million in the execution of the documents. Dave?
Okay.
John? Any discussion? Roll call vote. Dave?
Yes.
Keith Stefania?
Yes.
Mark Weddle?
Yes.
John Van Natten?
Yes.
Joey Tremblay?
Yes.
Trent Trumbull, yes. Dave Hoover?
Yes.
Motion carries.
And Chair, just for the benefit of the board, the next step in this process is the bonds to be tax exempt, be tax exempt for federal income tax purposes. We need a chapter approval. I won't get into too many boring details, but basically, the county legislature needs to approve this issuance of bonds.
Which we are doing tonight.
No, so tonight, it's
Technically,
before the
yeah.
Economic Development
Yeah.
Committee, will be on regular session on the 25th of November for approval.
But we provided a resolution for consideration, so that is in the process and go out for that.
Happens.
Thank you, Chair.
The county is very supportive of that.
Okay, any other business for the Capital Resource Corporation? If not, we will get a motion to adjourn. Keith, Joey, second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Mike, Governance Committee?
Thank you, Sharon. At this time, I'd like to call the Governance Committee of the County of Clinton Industrial Development Agency to order. Reading the notice. We have no presentations. We do have reading consideration of draft minutes of our meeting of December 11, 2023. Is there a motion, Mr. Hoover? Second, Mr. Bernard? I'll second. Any additions, deletions, or corrections to those minutes? Not all in favor? Just opposed? Carried. Under new business, slash old business, I guess, we've been talking about it for some time, is the governance committee. You guys know that we forward you Shannon's handiwork for review. We decided, or the IDA decided, for the governance committee to review the proposed changes to the UTEP. At this time, I'll turn it over to Shannon for a quick review of the changes. To remind the committee that we will, the action item today will be to advertise for a public hearing. So we're not approving the UTEP, we're gathering information today. So Shannon.
Absolutely, thank you. Yeah, so as Mike said, what the governance committee is doing today is recommending that the board consider a public hearing resolution for the UTEP Chris alluded to this earlier, but you're not technically required to hold a public hearing when you're amending your UTEP. But it's good for transparency and it'll just make your board look better that you're giving people from the public an opportunity to comment on your new UTEP. What we've done is run through the UTEP and just updated some stylistic and technical things, like we replaced chairman with chairperson throughout, so that's been the term that we used most recently. And then the two major changes are we added terms for housing projects and schedules and criteria for those type of projects, and then we added criteria and an abatement schedule for renewable energy projects, so solar and wind. The housing changes were basically, we added criteria for workforce housing, affordable housing, senior living, and I think there might have been one other category for regular market rate housing.
That's what,
The market rate housing one is a very, very short abatement schedule for years. And you obviously still have the ability to deviate from this policy. You're not beholden to these terms. After the public hearing, if the board still wants to make changes to this policy, you're able to do so. But what the governance committee is doing today, like I said, is recommending the policy as is to the board. The full board of the IDA can review it, authorize the public hearing, and then assuming there are no other changes or no other comments from the public, then in December, you could authorize it if you want, or we can take more time to make further comments to it. You know, you're not required to update it. You're just the terms that we've proposed and that we've kind of put together based on our discussions with Molly over the past couple of months.
and the precipice for this, as a reminder, was number one, we want to encourage housing development. And it's not very profitable to build housing right now, so if we can help shave some of that cost off economically, we want to create a bigger housing inventory so that we have more, when companies come here and they say, where are my people gonna live? We can very assuredly say that we can have developers to address that. And with regards to the green energy, this is kind of standardizing it. I believe every meeting we've had, one of our board members asked, is this different than the other benefit that they were giving? This standardizes it so that we know every time this is what to expect, and then deviating less, which the comptroller likes.
Does this give us an opportunity also to, advertise this or at least educate our local
I was hoping so, Chairman.
real estate?
So if I may, I think we'll leave this discussion to the governance committee. And then maybe the full board would have a discussion on our recommendation to you at that point. Is that okay, Aaron?
Yep. I'm sorry for jumping.
Fighting you guys out.
It's just that I'm still twitching from the time of past.
So, Shannon, thank you. This, my cursory reading, although I'll do it again, does reflect discussions. So, John or David, do you have any specific questions for council? So again, we are going to, with your approval, we will recommend to the full board to advertise for a public hearing on the amendments to the UTEP as proposed herein. And as council said, we have the ability to change that anytime before approval. So is there a motion to ship this to the full board? Oh, John, second by David. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
So I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the governance committee, moved by John, second by Dave. All in favor? We're adjourned. Thank you.
Okay. We'll open up the Clinton County Industrial Development Agency meeting for November 13th, 2024. Declare quorum, waive the reading of the notice of the meeting as well as the minutes, and ask for a motion to approve them. Dave? Joey? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ollie, do you want to introduce?
Yes, Jason, are you there?
Yes, I am. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Jason. So this is Jason. He is from Vortex. Jason, we do have Gary Douglas in the room coming to express his
Yes.
support for you
Hey,
today.
Gary.
Derek, you have anything to say? Before he
I
goes
just
there?
came to be supportive. We're delighted that you're moving forward in Plattsburgh, and we look forward to continuing to work with you. Thank you for your confidence.
And before Jason gets started, just by way of background, the chamber does this event that they call a red carpet event, where they find potential companies that are looking to locate to the United States. They bring people like me, John, to talk to them about why they should be here in our region. And that is how this idea application came to us. So thank you, Gary, for your efforts. Jason, without further ado, I will let you chat with my board. As a reminder to my board, you're not voting on anything today. You'll have the cost benefit analysis prior to the next meeting with the agendas, and you will vote on a public hearing resolution at the next meeting. This is just a presentation.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for allowing me to have a bit of time today. So I just wanted to take maybe 10, 15 minutes to present who Vortex is, some details of the plan as per the application that was sent in a few weeks back. So I'm going to share a PowerPoint presentation, and you can tell me if you are able to see it. Looking for my, yeah, there we go. And we are almost up. Do you guys see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so just before I get started, myself personally, I'm Jason Menguile. I'm the Director of Finance at Vortex. So I'll go through the presentation. It'll start off by speaking a little bit about who the company is, some of our background since we were initially founded, a bit of who the executive and leadership committee team is, as well as some projects that we've already successfully executed, just so you get a feel for the company. And then I'll go into some of the project details. So to kick us off, Vortex was initially founded in 1995. We're what we call an aquatic play products company. We do the manufacturing sale of aquatic play products, namely the splash pad. We deliver projects, not necessarily products. So we've delivered over 10,000 projects worldwide. We've served and delivered into 50 countries. We've received many honors and accolades through the years, mainly through product innovation, product design in many different areas. We are located in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, and we have a 220,000 square foot manufacturing facility in Montreal. This is just to give a kind of an overview of the countries that we mainly serve. We have our headquarters is in Canada. We have a subsidiary, Vortex USA Inc., that is mainly at this time just sales representatives. We have a subsidiary in the Netherlands, a subsidiary in Spain, and all the other countries listed are mainly we sell to them through distribution networks. So we are open and we are international. We sell to pretty much any country that has a need. But there are certain areas of focus, mainly the United States, which is about 70% of our business. Just to give a little bit of an overview of who the leadership team is of this company. So Stephen Hamley, the president and CEO, founded the company in 1995. It's a family-run private business. It's still 100% owned by Stephen. And over the last few years, we've really kind of, I'll use the term beefed up, or let's say invested in our executive team as we have very big plans for growth over the next few years. Just a kind of a general point is that Vortex, we really like to consider ourselves as a full turnkey solution. So we do the design of the product, we manufacture it, we have our in-house marketing, our sales team, we have a distribution network, but we also have sales representatives who work for Vortex. The majority of our supply chain is manufactured in-house. We're very vertically integrated, which will come up later. So it's very important for us to control the whole process so that we could really focus on the customer and ensuring that their needs are met as we're involved with the whole process. Just speaking more on the commercial and the sales standpoint. So the term splash pad, I'm not sure if anyone at this table is familiar with it, but this was a term that was coined by Vortex back in 1995. We took over the market that was typically wading pools in the past. These are becoming less and less popular over time. The need for lifeguards, the additional studies that have come out about still water and the negative impacts potentially of that. So zero depth splash pads, so these are, and I'll show some pictures afterwards of what this means, is really our core business. We also sell other kind of complementary products, what we call elevations, tower water slides, as you probably know from theme parks and things like that. But we also control a whole water management system that happens in the background, which is really like, think of a pool, the way it treats water, the way it's able to recirculate it through the system, so we can focus on minimal water consumption. We about 70 to 75% of our business is with municipalities. We sell mainly parks and rec departments, urban settings, public spaces, community centers. And then there's about 30% of our business that is more, let's say, more commercial, more of a commercial market to water parks, hotels, resorts. We've been on a couple cruises. It's a smaller part of our business, but it does allow Vortex to have a nice exposure on the market so people can see our product. The next few slides, I'll just show, these are some of the customers that we've been, from the commercial side, that we've been able to successfully deliver to in the last few years. These are more recognizable names in some of our municipalities. So just I have a couple slides just to give everyone a feel to what our product is. It's very important to say that we're a family-run business, but we also service families. Yes, our customer is a commercial development, a city, a HOA, but really our true customer is the children. So with that, you could see here's a commercial project we did in Grapevine, Texas for Legoland. What you'll see here is what a traditional, let's say, municipality splash pad would be: zero depth water, very kind of, it's really focused on play. We also make all of our projects to ADA regulations. It's very important for us to have an inclusive mindset, ensuring that if a child's in a wheelchair, that he could still have as much fun with the splash pad as anyone else who's attending it. We also do bigger projects that are indoors. These are what we call an elevation project. So it's typical to what you think of when you think of a dry playground, or a playground that's in a park that has elevated structures. You walk up a couple steps. This is in an indoor aquatic center. And this is a project that we delivered this year in New Hampshire. It's one of our bigger projects to, forget the name now, Storyland in New Hampshire. So really, my happy place. It's important for our company to focus on the end customer, which is the children, giving them the most play value for what they expect when they go out. So I'll speak a little bit about operations. So I spoke a bit earlier about how we are a vertically integrated company. We have all of our process in-house. A big part of that is our operations. So we do have welders, designers, engineers, marketing, sales, customer service. But in our 220,000 square foot manufacturing plant, we try to do as much as possible inside. The only thing, as part of our whole process, the only parts that are not currently done in-house is paint and some plastic mold injection. Everything else related to steel manipulation, manufacturing is all done in-house. Vortex was a certified Great Place to Work in 2024, both at a corporate level and as a manufacturer in the market. Again, I'm obviously talking about our Montreal plant, but it is something that I wanted to bring forward because it is how we do business. It is how we believe in our employees, believe in our people, believe in our community. So it's very important that we maintain this standard. We're actually going through the process again for 2024, 2025, and we hope to achieve the same success. So I'll speak a little bit about the US expansion. So Vortex has been in business since 1995, but we're at a point where we do have ambitious goals to double our revenue and double our business in the next 5 years. In order to do that, there's quite a few roadblocks in the way, one of which is our capacity to manufacture. In order to double our revenue, well, we're going to have to double our production, and included in that means we need to have more space. Obviously, there's different locations that we could look at, but the one that makes the most logical sense for us is to open a manufacturing facility in the United States. For whether it's government regulation reasons, supply chain reasons, it is important for us to have that local feel to our biggest market. As I said, about 70% of our business is through the US. So it's important for us to really not just have our Vortex USA Inc.'s arm of our business to be just a sales business. It's really to make it a full-fledged part of the organization. So really, when we look at going into a location, it's not necessarily just to open up a manufacturing plant. We want to buy local. If I could compare it to how we are in Montreal, we sell internationally, but we buy from Quebec suppliers. And the logic will apply wherever we go. the intention is to get local labor, local supply chain as much as we can to develop that and be an integral part of the community. There is a note that it is advantageous for us to be close to our Canadian operations. Obviously, it's not imperative, but it would obviously be helpful for us to have a bit of oversight and a bit of transfer between the two locations, which is why the Clinton County is something that's interesting for us. So just for those who are not aware, there is a property that we have in mind, which is the 31 Northern Avenue, a 51,000 square foot property. There is a signed LOI as of today with between our president and the owner of this building, but it is contingent on approval of tax incentives and going forward with our program. Purchase price about 2.8 million. This is at an early stage. There's still negotiations going on, but there's also included in our kind of initial assessment of the project about 1.2 of renovation that we would procure from local construction, utilize local construction companies to bring it up to standards for our manufacturing needs and also our level, as I said, great place to work. There's a certain level of excellence that we expect out of our business. One other interesting aspect of this property is it is on a large property, so there is room for further expansion. What I'll be speaking about today is one of the projects that I've applied for, but there is very much a potential to further expand our supply chain as we go, our manufacturing process, and even potentially shift some of the business from Montreal to whichever location that we choose. So this property is very exciting for us because there is physical space to expand, build going forward. One of the initial pieces of equipment or processes that we would bring in house is something that we currently outsource, which is our painting, our powder coating. So this is something that we would acquire approximately $2 million to have this process set up. And then there would be an additional $250K investment for other equipment. The $2 million, I should note, also includes welding equipment, other manufacturing equipment, but the biggest piece would be the paint shop, which would be the first piece to acquire. Our first assessment is in the next 5 years to create 30 net new jobs. Included in this list would be welders and painters, which, as I said, was the first thing we'd be bringing in. But then there would be everything else to support the supply chain. Quality, assembly, somebody who would be working in the supply chain as a buyer and as well as a general manager to oversee. This is more of a quick calculation on my side, but at an average wage of $60K annually, that would be approximately $1.8 million in payroll per year. So just as a summary, the request was for the real estate exemption and as well as the sales tax exemption. We're looking at capital investment of $6.25 million. That capital investment would be mainly funded through debt, but taken on by the company. We do have ambitious targets, as our company does for everything else that we do. So we expect that the project start date would be around March 2025, if everything would be approved in a timely manner, with our first production as October 2025. And if anyone at the table has any experience from a manufacturing standpoint, that is an ambitious goal, and that's how we plan. So as of today, from less than 1 year from today, we have a fully operational manufacturing plant sending its first products out the door. And lastly, as I said, there's a lot of discussion internally of what this potential plant could mean to us. So there's the next step would be shifting some of the processes that we have internally to the new manufacturing plant for many different reasons. But that would be a decision at a later date. So that was it for my presentation. Obviously, if there's any questions, I'm open at this time. Any questions regarding the presentation or our business that we plan to do in New York?
Thank you, Chairman. Jason, thank you for the presentation. My name is Mike Zerlo, a board member. And your presentation very well thought out. I wish every applicant provided a presentation so clear as yours. So thank you for that.
I will add that they've also had the most complete application I've ever seen.
So I have one question that's very near and dear to my heart. And you made reference to it in your presentation, but for the record, I would just like to hear it come from you. Absent IDA benefit, does this project go forward?
Yeah, the answer is no. It is
You should stop right there.
No, but honestly speaking, as we look to expand into the United States, there are many different locations that offer many different benefits. I did say, and it is true, that the close proximity is a big advantage for your location versus others. That being said, it is not the make or break. So as I said, we have two subsidiaries, one's in Netherlands and Spain. They're not exactly close to Montreal either. So it is not imperative for us to do so. Without the incentive program, we would not at this time go forward. We would have to further assess what our next steps are.
So let me rephrase. Absent IDA benefit, your project in Plattsburgh, New York, would not come to.
No, that's correct. Without the IDA benefits, we wouldn't move forward with the project.
Thank you.
And in case, if you're looking, they're applying for a standard category 2 benefit. They scored a 10, and for their application, I would concur with their score. So.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Any other questions?
So does Jason know the process from here forward?
We'll have that conversation with them offline. Yeah. Jason will be in touch.
Okay.
Thank
If there's nothing else on my end.
No, that's it.
Thank you so much for taking the time today, and hopefully this is the start of a very good working relationship.
Likewise. Thanks, Jason.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
À la prochaine.
Bye.
All right.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Gary. Any other comments or questions?
I wasn't kidding. I had read the application. I just reread it. Everything in the application was on the.
He is very thorough,
Yeah.
very thorough. When he called to go over the application, I said, I've got to be honest with you, like, I don't have a whole lot to tell you because it's really, really good. So, yeah.
I thought that the application was for splash pads for dogs, like to.
Oh.
in your yard.
No.
Never said it all.
Yeah, and you were doing so well. There.
You're the only one.
What a cool what a cool- I shouldn't say that, but.
They
it is.
manufacture, I mean, did you see their clients? Walt Disney World,
Yeah.
Royal Caribbean, like, yeah, very cool. Yeah, so, gotta have them in here.
The only thing I saw in the application, we have some comments, but they're, the property tax exemption the real property tax was only 25,000.
It's not, yeah, gonna be higher than that.
Presumably that's gonna be.
Yeah, yeah.
Be conservative.
Yeah, that might be what,
Well, you can do the quick math.
if I had to guess, Chris, that's probably what the taxes are on it now, right? So,
Well, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. enough.
You know, the county will keep there. That's the old three.
Your county taxes have gone down 3 consecutive years.
what was that? Sorry.
It's the old
The banter over here is.
yeah, it's the old 3-wire building.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Does Herb still own that?
No, somebody else wants it.
Where's-
No, I don't think so.
Where is now? He was
It's on the base.
They maintain restaurant equipment. Throughout the United States.
Maybe.
No, it's not. The county had actually looked at that at one point. It didn't work out, but it wasn't Herb that we were dealing with.
Okay.
The IGA could have a splash pad.
Maybe, maybe.
Well, maybe they'll.
Well, then in the winter it could freeze and we could skate on it. You're right, that's an expanded mind. It was a good presentation.
Yeah.
Look forward to moving forward with it.
Yeah.
Okay, reports, Keith?
Yes, the IDA financial report for the October 31st, 2024, shows $99,880.51 in checking, $1,319,732.73 in the sweep account, and $227,027.71 in savings. We received $38.45 in interest income last month. And the invoices received to be paid for October are Clinton County Treasurer admin fees, $13,000. Clinton County Site Selection Advertisement, $3,200. Clinton County Site Selection Advertisement, $50. Credit cards payment for meeting expenses, $299.70. And bank charge street fee of $10. Total expenses, $16,559.70.
Any questions for Keith? Anybody motion to approve, the budget report? Someone can. Mike, John, second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Mike, the government.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the governance committee, the IDA met earlier this afternoon. The governance committee reviewed the proposed changes to the uniform tax exempt policy. There was some technical changes in language and additions with respect to housing and clean energy projects. The governance committee is recommending to the full board approval of the resolution authorizing the public hearing on those proposed changes. We'd certainly answer any questions, or Shannon would answer any questions that you may have on the proposed changes. I'd like to remind everybody, we're not approving it today. We're just approving the public hearing. So even after today's meeting, I urge the full board to take a review of those proposed changes, and we certainly can change it, once we hear back from the public hearing. So,
And Chairman, just in the interest of flow for the meeting, if we want to have discussion about, transparency and things like that, I would recommend we do that under, when you take the motion for the public hearing resolution, just so we can let Mr. Silva get to his presentation.
That's fine. Any questions for Mike? At this time? Okay, if not, any old business?
No old business, Chairman.
Okay, new business.
All right, so Ryan, are you there? Oh, there he is. Hey, so I'll give a brief introduction. So Ryan is head of the New York State Economic Development Council, right? And they have been a phenomenal partner for not just here in Clinton County IDAs, but IDAs across the state. You may have also seen, I sent you the information on the Economic Blueprint Initiative that they have partnered with the Business Council on. So I wanted to give Ryan the opportunity to talk to you guys about exactly how we partnered and all the great things that they've done for the IDA. Our membership dues are up. We have that in the budget. They're a little bit more than they were before, but I'll give Chris a nice little plug here, and that his fees went down this year, so we have money to more than cover that cost.
down to zero. Wonderful. He followed the lead of the county.
So I would highly recommend to the board that this is a great relationship to have. And with that said, Ryan, I'll let you talk a little bit more specifically about all the great things you guys are doing.
Great, thanks, Molly. Can everybody hear me? Am I good?
Yep.
If I had known Mr. Canada was going to be commuting up too, I would have carpooled. That would have made the commute a little easier. Chris, it's good to see you, my friend. I saw him sitting there earlier, and he left. My dear friend Gary Douglas from another lifetime ago, when I worked on the REDCs and also worked at a local chamber of commerce in Troy, New York, back when it was still called the Plattsburgh Chamber. Gary's got a few years on me, though. So thank you, everyone, for your time. Thank you, Molly, for your continued support and leadership. The New York State EDC is a 501c6. We're a membership association. We're over 50 years old, and we've been supporting economic development in New York State through advocacy, education, and policy development. And we have really been focused on ensuring that organizations like the Clinton County IDA have the tools and resources they need to grow their economies the way they best know how to. So we regularly meet with legislators, members of the governor's office, members of different state agencies to advocate for pro-economic development policies and initiatives. And Molly, I did have a PowerPoint that I could screen share if I have the authority to. Let me just see. Can everybody see this? Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Let me start the slideshow. So I just talked a little bit about who we are and what we do. You don't need to see my bio, but I've been here for 7 years at the EDC. Prior to being here, I have served as the deputy director for the REDCs, and as I said, spent a decade working in the Chamber of Commerce world. Here's what we do: advocacy, education, policy development, strategic industry attraction, research, and networking. Some of the things that we've advocated for, if you're familiar with the Fast New York program, we actually helped create that. We were instrumental in bringing back the Restore New York communities a few years ago. We worked extensively on advocacy at the federal level with the CHIPS and Science Act, working with other state associations like ours in Arizona, Texas, Ohio, and also with the International Economic Development Council to push for that initiative to move forward. We worked on the New York State Green Chips Act, and then just a host of other programs. I won't go through all of them, but we work and advocate for a variety of different economic development tools for our members to have in the toolbox. Some of the things we've done from industry attraction standpoint, we host delegations and trade shows that go out all across the country to promote New York and try to bring more business back to New York State. We've also done significant research around semiconductors, around cyber and homeland security. A few years ago, we did a study on the impact the prevailing wage would have on economic development projects. We did an IDA economic impact study, which we now do every year, sort of to show a broader snapshot of the great work IDAs do. The state comptroller and the authority's budget office each issue annual reports. So we decided to start issuing our own annual report, and I'll show you some of the results that we've been able to ascertain from that. And then we built out a semiconductor asset map as well that New York uses to promote the semiconductor industry. Well, here's some economic impact that IDAs have. Looking at non-traditional statistics, 36,000 new housing units, 233 wind and solar projects, 411 residential, 460 projects in downtowns. So we're trying to show a broader economic impact that IDAs have across New York State. Some of the more traditional metrics, but much more focused. 1.3 million permanent annual jobs as a result of IDA projects across the state, 141 billion in annual wages. Construction wages, $12.4 billion in annual tax revenue for New York State. And for every dollar in IDA abatements, IDAs generate $6.50 in new tax revenue. So significant impact that IDAs have in growing the tax base of communities across New York State. And then 340 million in new pilot revenue for school districts. That's been an area of constant discussion recently. The fact is IDAs add revenue to school districts' budgets. Some of the projects that some of you may be aware of always have the IDA as part of the process. These projects, these mega projects, don't happen without the IDA support. There's projects we can point to, I know, in the North Country, Bombardier, Nova Bus, that without the IDA, those projects don't come to fruition. So in addition to doing community development, major manufacturing, high-tech projects, high-tech jobs come to New York State because of the work that IDAs do. And then just some additional housing data around some of the IDAs and the impacts on housing, some studies and stories. Policies and programs, we have our sort of annual policy agenda that we develop and release. We'll make sure we share that with all of you as we do every year. We testify at all the public hearings that the legislature holds. We hold meetings regularly throughout the year. We do road shows and come up and meet with assembly members, Senate members in their home districts. So we're always looking for feedback on legislative items that we can advocate for and where we need to oppose legislation that would negatively impact economic development. This is just some of the stuff we've done over the last 12 months. Created the semiconductor map, the prevailing wage subsidy board, DEC regulations, which you may be aware of. We're advocating for some changes to that. Low-income housing tax credits. I know we had some back and forth, Molly, about that earlier in the year that we were working on. Just a lot of different areas in addition to the advocacy work we do for industrial development agencies. Some of the things we've done from industry attraction this year, and then sort of what's next. Molly referenced the creating a new economic blueprint in partnership with the Business Council. For those of you who are sort of in the same age bracket as me, I love that I'm Just the Bill cartoon from back in the day on how bills become laws. So we've been working on a whole host of items in addition to doing our advocacy work here in Albany. And where we need help, serve as validators, say no to legislation that will remove or hinder IDA tools. We want to give IDAs additional tools. And where we can, we ask our members and our partners to tell legislators you support the efforts of your IDA. Over communicate with your constituents. It's what ultimately pushes back on some of the narratives that can be created around the work that IDAs perform. So this economic blueprint initiative, I think, is a critical next step. We really need to address some items around affordability, around outward migration, around energy, around housing, industry attraction. So our goal with this is to create a blueprint utilizing best practices from around the country to make New York more competitive, to bring more private sector investment back to New York, to reverse some of the trends that have been unfortunately ongoing for a number of years. So I think as of right now, we have over 45 organizations and entities, not only financially contributing to this initiative, but also working with us to schedule some roundtables and focus groups and ultimately help us with some survey work. So Molly, I want to be respectful of everybody's time. I know I kind of ran through everything really quickly there. Any questions, comments, anything else I can talk about?
Can we get a copy of that data?
Can we get a copy of that data, Ryan, the presentation, if you could share that with us?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll share the presentation, and Molly, I'll also share a link to the full study that we did. This was from last year, our 2024 study on the economic impact of IDAs will hopefully be done sometime in December.
How's our good friend Senator Scoofus?
He's doing well.
Until leave it at that. Any other questions?
I just want to say that, so we're a sponsor of the EDC, and they put on great events.
Yeah.
I'm not getting paid for this by Ryan, but they had an IDA Academy.
We're paying you enough.
That was a big fall down the plate. Yeah, they had an IDA Academy last week in Austin, New York, which was fantastic. Shannon was one of the speakers on the ABO plan, which was great. So always good events, well put together. So.
Yeah. Thank you, Chris. We greatly appreciate the support Hutch and Russ provides, not only the EDC, but frankly, our members across New York State. I think it's important work that each of you do as volunteers, especially from a board perspective. No good deed always goes unpunished, as they say, but it is important work that you're doing to try and bring about a higher quality of life in your community. So thank you for all you do. And Molly, thank you for your support and partnership as well.
Yes, and I'll just add, I don't know if you were on yet, Ryan, but the board is considering amending their UTEP to add housing to our UTEP. And thanks to the good work of my attorneys here, but that idea came about from one of the conferences. That I
And the
was at,
governance
so.
committee.
And the governance.
Yes.
They're thorough review.
Governance.
Thorough review from the governance committee.
Yeah.
But that idea came about from one of those
Thanks for
conferences. So thank
supporting.
you, Ryan.
Yeah, no, happy to do so. And I'll just say I got on for the tail end of that Vortex presentation. I'm ready to invest in them if anyone else doesn't want to. That was pretty thorough and pretty
Cool, right?
impressive.
Yeah, very cool company. Yes. So, all right. Thanks, Ryan. We appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you, Molly. And I will, we're going to be doing, I think, a focus group up in the
Yes.
North Country in
Yep.
partnership with the North
Yeah,
Country.
Chelsea Lemon
Chamber.
already reached out. So yes.
Awesome. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
All
Have a
right.
great
Thanks,
day,
Ryan.
everybody.
Thanks. I'll spend my legs trying to get on board. So you can get paid.
Yes, the chamber is also a sponsor of the Blue Front Initiative, so they'll be hosting it at their location.
Some of that information that you shared, if you give that out to the public.
Absolutely.
they really could.
I was going, so you've seen, I don't know if you've seen social media, but I tried to do some Friday spotlights on different companies, trying to tell people, the things that we do here in the community. And I'd like to start, it kind of goes along with what we're going to talk about with transparency of, look at these statistics. This is what we're doing. So people really understand the value that the IDA adds to projects, so that when a potentially controversial project comes up, the narrative is out there that these are the good things and why you should be doing this. So. All right, so continue.
Well, I don't know if we need to wait for Mike so we can get to Yeah.
You want to skip?
You're just trying to rationalize.
I'm happy to discuss that. I don't know.
Yeah,
Don't forget, we also have to,
yeah, we have to do
we
the
have to adopt a
public
resolution.
hearing resolution. Yep.
So,
Okay, let's just move down to executive director's report.
Sure. I honestly, because it's been such a short time since our last meeting, I don't have a ton to report to you guys. I can tell you that, and this is kind of coupled with the economic development county update, but the Clinton Community College feasibility study is progressing. The company that we hired, CPL, is getting ready to do their site visit. So I'm working to identify folks that they may need to talk to as a team. So that is moving forward. I did receive the initial housing feasibility study in draft form. I'm going to be going over it with Moon Associates next week. They have not yet identified the locations. That's part of the next phase of the project. So that is also progressing nicely, but the data that they compiled was fascinating, and I hope to have that for you finalized at the next meeting. But other than that, I don't have, I don't need to read my report. So, if there's any questions, Chairman, happy to take them. But seems like things are progressing very nicely.
Okay.
yes, so I presented a copy of our invoice for legal services.
We waited for you.
We waited for you.
Oh my God, I was gonna make the motion to approve.
So, as we discussed previously, these days, IDAs, there's a lot more than just street, worried about, JBO compliance, control compliance, so just different questions that come up as part of our daily practice. So you'll recall last year, the bill for our services was $50,000. That represented, it was a significant write-off, but it was full time as well. This year, we were at about 35,000. We did a courtesy discount of 2,500. So we're at around $32,000. So it is scaling downwards, which I think is always good things, which is, you know. So Molly does a terrific job, you know, she reaches out when she has questions on certain things, we are happy.
I promised him approval. For him to say that.
Honestly, all kidding aside, it's a privilege to represent you guys. Really, decades and want to keep going, so many more decades. So that is what's in front of you. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Does Shannon get most of that?
Well, Shannon does most of the work.
You might be looking for an hourly breakdown.
Yeah.
You get the itemized bill?
Happy to provide. So that's what
I didn't even call you to complain.
I called you on something else that you
That
left.
was a joke.
Well, thank you for the courtesy discount. Do what you do.
I will add that I've asked, you know, they've had some projects, I mean, this wasn't like a typical year where we just do a couple different solar farms, right? Like, we've had some pretty cool projects that have come in front of us. We've amended our UTEP, so, that I could not absolutely 100% could not do that without you guys, so. So thank you.
Mr. Hammond.
Okay, then, may I get a motion to,
So moved, Chairman.
Whoa, right out of the gate.
second? With the two high-powered guys, two money guys. Any questions or, any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you very much.
Hey, uniform tax exemption policy revision. You want to discuss anything?
Did you had I apologize, but you had a question earlier about marketing. Is that something you want to talk about?
Well, yes, I mean, especially with the fact that we're adding, the housing piece to it. And that, it seems as though a couple of years ago, we ran into a huge, discussion from the community, certainly the housing developers in Plattsburgh specifically. And I just wanted to make sure that if we're going to change anything and add this opportunity, that we could let them know about it. Because that was one of the things that came
Well, I think
up.
they were asking for a deviation regardless, right? Even if this was in play, I think that project would have asked for a deviation.
How about Brian?
But I think
This doesn't preclude, Shannon, I mean, this is a, you know, the uniform tax exempt policy
But
does not preclude a.
you're correct. You could deviate again, but I think
Right.
to your point,
Yeah.
this, holding this public hearing, getting the word out that we're setting these parameters to have housing projects provide uniformity for people coming down.
And I think,
Only helps you.
yeah, and I think to Trent's point in that, you know, yes, we'll do what we're required to do as far as putting out the notice. But I do think it is kind of incumbent upon us to maybe do a press release on this, put it out on social media. That way it's, you know, nobody reads the public notices. That's why nobody ever shows up to them, right? So, but if
Keep the fire act.
So if we did a little marketing around holding this public hearing, I think it stands to benefit projects moving forward.
I will tell you, we can't talk about it yet, but I know of a proposed housing project that is conversing with Molly and I, county property, and part of their letter of intent is an IDA benefit. So something like this could facilitate not only that discussion, but future discussions as well.
It would be helpful, because I think we've in the past been accused of only helping outside companies coming in. And offer something to local businesses.
If you wanted us, if you advertised the public hearing and wanted us to come up to attend.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, okay.
free. Somehow, so.
That was in the 2500 discount. Okay, so we have a motion to approve the public hearing. Resolution number 11-24-04, authorizing a public hearing regarding proposed revisions to the agency's uniform tax exemption policy. May I get that motion?
So moved, Chairman.
Mike?
I'll second.
John? Further discussion? If not, roll call vote, Jeff Kelly and yes. Dave Cooper?
Yes.
Mike Zerlo?
Yes.
Keith Defiant?
Yes.
Mark Letta?
Yes.
John Van Natten?
Yes.
And Joey Tremblay? Yes. Any other business?
Gave him a brief county.
Thank you. Perfectly timed call.
Mike, do you have any updates?
I'm sure Molly covered it. We did the housing project that we talked about, having discussion. We're having another discussion with a potential, tenant at the CBIG. So, you know, we have, scanned.
I'm sorry, I'm talking about the airport.
Oh, yes, we have, another potential tenant at the King County, excuse me, the Plattsburgh National Airport. So things are moving. I'm sure Molly talked about through the generosity of this board, we are actively beginning the process of discussing the feasibility of, the Clinton Community College property. So I'm here to do without humor. Thank you, for your participation in that endeavor as well.
Okay, anybody else have anything for this, if not, may I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Dave, any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Look at that, got all of that done in 1 hour.
Yeah. Wow.
2 presentations and a bunch of resolutions.
Oh. Yeah.
Hey. Get all this stuff out. So it's gonna replace,
I said.
Put that. Did you set it off?
Just started that.